Welcome students to information video 5. This video is about urbanization. We are going to look at the living conditions in the fast-growing cities and how these living conditions became really bad during the Industrial Revolution. Until the 19th century, there was a big difference between the city and the farmland, and it was very clear. You can see this on this picture. Most of the people lived and worked on the farms, and there were a few people that lived in the city, which was protected with a big wall. You might remember this from the Middle Ages. This picture changed because of the Industrial Revolution. You remember that because of the steam engine, factories no longer had to be located next to a fast-flowing river, but could also be built in the city. Because of this, factory workers that lived in the city no longer had to walk a long distance to get to the factory. In a short time, a lot of factories were built in villages and cities, which were located near raw material like coal mines. Because of this, the coal did not have to be shipped very far. Because of this, there are a lot of fast-growing industrial cities. Because of the mechanization, there were a lot of farmers and artisans that lost their jobs. Because the machines took over the work, they all moved to the cities. There they lived near the factory, hoping they could find a job there. So the cities grew because people were moving there to find a job and because more and more factories moved to the cities. We call this urbanisation, or in Dutch, verstedelijking. You can see an example of the Netherlands on this picture. This is Enschede. You can see a lot of smoking chimneys from all the machines and factories. In Enschede, there were a lot of farmers that also worked in the textile home industry. This is why a lot of investors and factory owners decided to open their factories in Enschede so they could focus on the textile industry that was already there. In the 19th century, they built about 160 factories and they even built train tracks to other cities just to move all the textiles they produced in Enschede. A lot of people who used to work in the textile home industry lost their jobs because the machines took over the work from the farmers and those home industry workers. A lot of people moved to these fast-growing cities just to try and find a job there. Enschede grew very fast, as you can see on this picture. Because the growth of these cities went so fast, they did not have enough time to create a good plan for what the city should look like and how it could safely house so many people. The factory owners wanted, besides having a lot of factories, also a lot of factory workers in the city. So they built as many houses as they could in a very, very small area. They did not really pay any attention to these factory workers that would live in these houses. They wanted to keep their profit as high as possible, the cost as low as possible to make a bigger profit. They did not think of a sewer or electricity. The city became a mess and unhealthy to live in. The streets were very small, just to build as many houses as possible. The factories were built near the houses, which meant a lot of smoke from the chimneys in the city. So the air in the city was really dirty and bad for you. They also put as many people in a house as they could. Life was really hard for the factory workers that lived in these houses. Friedrich Engels wrote down his experience in one of these cities. The title of the text that was A Storm of Allies and Slums. You arrive from one courtyard to another. Everywhere you see buildings falling apart. In the houses, they don't even have wooden or stone floors. Every house has a broken door. Everywhere you see piles of dirt and garbage. The smell is unbearable to live in.